Sills, National Football Show. Welcome aboard. Appreciate everybody stepping in with us. You know, I was just telling Tone, one of the great things about talking sports, mostly in Philly, has been the fact that, you know, post Super Bowl, usually in a respected city, it's like downtime, dead time. Never in that region of the country will you ever go on the air saying this: I got nothing for you. Anybody who ever does that doesn't really deserve to be on the air because there's just a ton of stuff. I mean, the dates already. Check it out. What is it? The Combines. The 28th of February, March 6th. Then you've got free agency. March 15th, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern time. April draft. Everything is right around the corner. I love how the NFL fills their calendar up, and they are always on the front page. Seriously, man, what's the storyline in the NBA now that LeBron has passed Kareem? How many times can you cover a shitty Laker team? Or a fading Russell Westbrook? Do I care? Look, I get Embiid, the Sixers, Celtics, and Bucks. I get it. That's a story. Sure it is. But really, Memphis and, I don't know, Orlando, I have no interest in that, especially in a league that takes nights off. The NFL is always front and center. And we start with this. The Philly Scrum out. The Philly Scrum, according to competition committee people, I called them, and I called the chairman of it, Rich McKay. They're going to vote on it, and you're not going to have the Philly Scrum. It's gone. The Philly Scrum. And you know who was behind it? Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones and the Cowboys petitioned the competition committee saying that the Philly Scrum, that's what they're designating it, is an illegal play. Quote from Peter King, "It's not football." The Philly Scrum, man, you can guarantee if the Cowboys had been doing that, that would be the new fashion in the league. They're going to outlaw the Philly Scrum because you guys were unstoppable. It's clearly one of the greatest plays. And I got to give the coaching staff in Philadelphia a lot of kudos for this. Anybody that can change rules, you did your homework on manipulating the rules. Good for you, man. That's a feather in Nick Sirianni's hat. It absolutely is. The organization came up with a rule and came up with a play that benefited them so much that they basically went Wilt Chamberlain and Shaquille O'Neal on you. They had to change the game. Nah, we got to stop this. Philly's unstoppable on 4th down. Okay? Hey, can you imagine that? Hey, the Philly Scrum is going to be outlawed because you guys had too much success with it. Hey, just putting 300-pound guys behind Jalen with an already dominating line, that's not football. I think it's totally football. I don't have a problem with what they did. They came up with a way to manipulate a play. They benefited from it, and no other team could benefit from it because they don't have the horses to benefit from it. And because Philly has the best O-line and best O-line coach. Hey, by the way, tell me that's not a Jeff Stoutland play. You got to know that that's a Jeff Stoutland. I salute you. You made the National Football League designate the Philly Scrum illegal. Kudos to you, my friend. I'm going to give you a Buddy Ryan salute. Wham! Holy cow. Jeff Stoutland. You are so dominating of a coach that they are trying to now hamstring you in a play that you developed in your offensive meetings. Way to go, man. That is fantastic. You know Stoutland came up with that play. They should call that play the Stoutland play. Or they should put that in the rule book, the Stoutland rule. No pushing and advancing the quarterback on 4th and inches. I don't know how you're going to word this. No aiding of the quarterback or player. How are you going to word this exactly? So if you're in the middle of the pile and you get – I can't wait to see how the NFL words this. Oh, man. The Jeff Stoutland rule. Kudos to you guys, man. I saw that this morning, and then I called up Rich McKay, who's been on the program, and I said to Rich, I go, Rich. He goes, that's number 1 on our list. You will not see that in 2023. There's going to be no more Philly Scrum. Out. Oh, I knew you guys would get a kick out of that. Man, it sucks to be an Eagle fan because hey, you know what? I'm starting to believe the bias towards the Eagles. I'm starting to buy it. I think I'm buying into that. I think I'm starting to buy into, man, that these guys come after you, man. Totally BS. I agree with you, Bob. Unbelievable. All right. So I saw some reports that Jalen Hurts' contract is going to be north of Josh Allen's contract, 6 years, $258 million. Not me. I am not paying Jalen Hurts 6 years. Absolutely not. Not happening. I just told Tone this. And Tone, here it is. I don't care if you want to make him the highest paid guy in the league. You want to pay him 50? You want to pay him 51? You want to pay him 52? Go ahead. But I'm not giving him 6 years. I am not tying up the roster for 6 years on a dual threat guy who I'm not sure is going to even play 17 games. I'm not saying walk. I'm not saying do anything. Jalen Hurts is not better than Josh Allen. He's more careful than Josh Allen. Tom Brady's not better than Aaron Rodgers. He's just a better quarterback. But he doesn't have the same talent that Aaron Rodgers has. It's evident every time you watch Aaron Rodgers throw the ball. Two things can be the same. Two things can be the same. Jalen Hurts is by far not a reckless player. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are. You know, Jason Cole said yesterday that Lamar's probably the better athlete, but Jalen's the better quarterback. Two things can be the same. Okay? Two things can be the same. Jalen's just not reckless. He's not better than Josh Allen. He does not throw a football like that guy. Is he getting better? Absolutely. All of that we've gone over ad nauseum. He is getting better. Could he be Russell Wilson? Absolutely. Personally, I think Josh Allen has more talent even at his stage where he is than what Russell Wilson ever had. That doesn't mean he's going to put the same resume up. That doesn't mean that. Okay? You know, and people keep going, look at the turnovers he had. He still won 14 games. You make it sound like Josh Allen loses ball games. He doesn't. He won 14-4. Somehow people have tied that he's not a good player into those turnovers. Can you imagine when they clean it up a bit? They may never lose. Okay? They may never lose. He's not a better talent than any of those guys. However, he's not reckless like those players. Tom Brady's not reckless like, well, I don't say Aaron Rodgers is reckless. He's not. His interception touchdown ratio is absolutely insane, and it's great. He's not really reckless. Okay? But once again, I'm not paying Jalen Hurts 6 years. Absolutely not. Personally, I wouldn't have given Josh Allen 6 years. Just so you know, I'm being fair here. You know, Tone asked me the question. He goes, Sills, do you think Baltimore will trade Lamar on draft night? I don't think so. I don't think so. But you got to remember, here's a guy, last 3 years, has missed a ton of football. I don't want to get caught into a guaranteed contract with a guy who can't finish a season. I can't get caught into that. So I would look at what Tone said and go, well, I don't know, man. San Francisco goes an awful long way every year by not paying their quarterback and filling their roster up. Is that the right way to go? And by the way, the reason that, hey, how about this? You know, and I was telling Tone the reason why I'm not giving. Look at Derek Carr. Derek Carr was cut. $40 million a year guy, cut. Didn't work out for whatever reason in Oakland / Las Vegas. Didn't work out. Name me a contract. Let's take Mahomes out of it. Name me a contract that you ever remember where a guy fulfilled it and went the full distance with the contract, and he got another one of these big deals. Name me one. Let me think. Name me one in NFL history where a guy fulfilled the contract. Tom Brady? Okay. Brady? Mahomes? I mean, Jesus. That's not Jalen Hurts. That's not Kyler Murray. That's not Josh Allen. Okay? It's not. These contracts never get fulfilled. And you're always at the end going, gee, man, look at what he's making his last 2 years on the contract. And you never get the money out of the contract. Those contracts that these NFL teams and owners put in front of these players, again, they end up regretting it. Look at the Dak deal. Dak Prescott, look at that deal. You don't think the Cowboys want to get out of that? Think about this. Brock Purdy went further than the Cowboys. And they paid Dak $42 million to get bounced. Brock Purdy's $937,000. Not only did you beat him, he makes it to the NFC Championship game. Once again, I'm not suggesting to you that Brock Purdy's better than Dak, but his financial situation is. Just like I said about Purdy and Jalen Hurts. The 49ers financially are in a great place. They got to figure out the position. This is what's killed them the last 7 years. Okay? Dallas, again, has to regret that contract. Bob says, Sills, he may not be better, but he is equally important, if not more important. Hey, Bob, how do you know that right now? How do you know how important Jalen is with a loaded team? You've got to count on if Jalen Hurts loses his wideouts and his running game and offensive linemen because of the money that he's going to make, you have to be under the notion. Because, watch this, they started taking Amari away. They started taking some O-line away. The Cowboys got worse. There's only one place where a team got better. That's Kansas City. Kansas City lost the best deep threat maybe in NFL history. They lost Honey Badger. They lost a defensive rush end. And they still won a Super Bowl. You've got to be under the belief that Jalen can still carry his team with lesser talent. Are you sold on that? You think Hurts can win 15 ball games again without A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith and Isaac Seumalo and Miles Sanders? I don't believe he can. I do not believe that because he's not Mahomes. That's the dilemma on paying someone. That's why, again, I don't have a problem paying him between $45 and $50 million. That's not what I'm saying here. I don't want to tie my roster up, and I don't want to decimate my roster. The key right now, and again, the restructuring, I saw people saying, the problem that I have with restructuring Slay, so you're going to give Darius Slay a contract where you're going to revisit his contract, and you're going to try to get that cap hit down to zero on the $18 million that he's going to make. That means this, with his prorated bonuses, you're going to hand him a $10 million paycheck? I don't think he played that well the last 7 games of the year. And you're going to give that guy $10 million. By the way, you're kind of caught because it's, what was it, Tone? He's a $23 to $26 million cap hit. So you're kind of forced in keeping him over Bradbury. You're forced in keeping him. That's the dilemma. Hey, redoing Lane, I'm good. Redoing Goddard, I'm good. The kicker, same thing. Elliott, I'm good. Okay? Absolutely. Especially Lane. I don't have a problem with Lane. Lane is all good in my book. I'm not paying Miles. And if I have to do Kelsey on a restructure, shit, I give Kelsey the entire $10 million, knock all of his money off the book. I don't have a problem giving Jason Kelsey $8 or $9 million of his $10 million contract. And even if he got hurt, he's worth being on the team. Tutoring a guy like Cam Jurgens. By the way, I thought about this, and I want to bring this to your attention now. Well, say they lose Isaac Seumalo, okay? Say they lose Isaac Seumalo. I might want to think about playing Cam Jurgens over there. He's kind of small for the guards that they have had traditionally there. But I don't think I'd have a problem trying to put Cam Jurgens at the right guard position. And get this, having him play next to Kelsey might be an advantage where you move him back and then the next year you end up drafting an offensive guard. Okay? So I wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, maybe you put Jurgens over there at that right guard position if you lose Isaac Seumalo. And he's also on a rookie deal, which helps your cap. You're not re-signing Isaac. He's going to make $12, $13 million. And there's going to – him and CJ are going to get a ton of suitors to go after him. Jack Driscoll, right guard. I'd like to give the kid Jurgens a shot. Why not? You drafted him in the 2nd round. I would say this to you, Real. Jesus, isn't any of those guys going to pan out from last year's draft? I mean, somebody's got to play. Right? Somebody's got to play. Somebody's got to contribute from that draft, and not just the backup tight end. Somebody's got to do something from that draft. I mean, put Jurgens over there. Let's see what he's got. All right. I want to throw this at you here, too. By the way, I'm going to talk about Howie Roseman here in a second. Jason, Jordan Davis sucked this year. Sucked. Don't give me he looked great. He sucked. 0 sacks, very little impact. For the 13th pick, hey, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna bury something here. Do you know who Pro Football Focus said was the most improved player on the Philadelphia Eagles this year? Not a quarterback. Guess who Pro Football Focus said was the most improved player? Who do you think was the most improved player, according to Pro Football Focus, on the Eagle team? Who do you think? Who do you think? Look at Danny. Right on. According to Pro Football Focus, Milton Williams in 2021 graded out 49.6. In 2022, 89.8. His second season was awesome against the run, and according to Pro Football Focus, is one of the best tackling defensive tackles at his young age in the league. This is why, my friends, Milton Williams is going to be the starting defensive tackle next to Javon Hargrave and not Jordan Davis. Milton Williams is showing more progress and promise than Jordan Davis. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. That's not my opinion. They're calling him one of the better tacklers. Here's the word. Really good against the run. Plays under his shoulder pads. Plays with leverage. Graded out one of the highest defensive tackles in the NFL this year for such a young player. Now, he's had the benefit of being in his second year. Let's see what Jordan does. By the way, I'm not going to put the word bust on Jordan Davis. That's not where I'm going. But it was a very underachieving year for the 13th pick. Very underachieving. Okay? Very underachieving. Hey, don't be shocked if the Eagles draft another defensive tackle in the second, third, or fourth round. Don't be shocked if you see that. The Eagles draft another guy in the interior because they're losing a lot of bodies in there. Linval Joseph, Adama Sue, probably Fletcher Cox. Don't be shocked if they go with a DT in the third round somewhere in there. So, all right, let me throw this at you here. What would you do first? Would you address Jalen Hurts first, or would you get your coaching staff in order? What would you do first if you're Philly? What would you want to do? By the way, I threw out Eric Bieniemy. So Eric Bieniemy is going to be the offensive coordinator in Washington. So you're going to have Jack Del Rio, Ron Rivera, and Eric Bieniemy on the coaching staff in Washington? Jesus. Why did the Eagles look at him? They're looking at Vance Joseph. They're looking at the guy that I told you guys to look at from Seattle/Chicago, Deceni. I told you about him. He's a young and up-and-coming guy. I would not be surprised if they bring him in here in Philadelphia for a interview. I told you about him. He's a great young-minded guy. Okay? Okay, so look at, so Eagle goes, Del Rio's trash. Really? He beat your ass this year. He took it to your Eagles this year. What are you talking about, Del Rio's trash? You beat him up in the first game. They turned around and whipped your ass. They hung an L on Philly. They hung an L on Philly. L. Yeah, look at 91 goes, yeah, we took it to them. Washington didn't make the playoffs, though. They weren't a playoff team. You took it to another non-playoff team. Congratulations. You beat another shitty team up. And then they turned around and beat you like the Saints did. Yeah, okay. What's important? What do you think? Getting the coaching staff in order or dealing with Jalen first? What do you think? I'll get to why CJ was fined. What's important? Getting the coaching staff in order or addressing Jalen? I think it's coaching too, real. I think you got to get your house in order first. Who's going to be your coordinator? Who's going to be the people that you want to put, a system around? Man, here's one thing I don't like about the Vance Joseph thought and them interviewing him. Man, he's a 34 guy. That means you have to put Hardgrave back on the nose. Whew. And the backup would be Jordan Davis. He's not a nose guard. Okay? He plays too high for nose in the NFL, and he'll get drilled off the ball like he did in the Super Bowl. He got drilled off the ball in the Super Bowl. Jordan Davis had his worst game of the year in the Super Bowl. He looked terrible. He was terrible in that game. And you're going to put him on the nose? I don't think so. I'd put Hardgrave on the nose before I would do that. I think you got to get your coaching staff in order. And Sirianni came out publicly, gets what he said. He goes, hey, man, so my coordinator offensively is going to be the play caller. That's not Nick Sirianni saying that. Howie Roseman's doing that, which means Howie's making the hire. Here's again one of the issues that I have with Howie Roseman. Why is Howie Roseman in the process of hiring an offensive coordinator? Isn't that the head coach's responsibility and the owner? How is Howie involved in that?